Welcome to another episode of The Inquisitive Engineer. Every day on my way to work, I pass a Motel 6, and I remembered this week that Motel 6 was the answer to a Final Jeopardy question about a year or two ago. The Final Jeopardy question hinted to the fact that the 6 in the Motel 6 name was due to the fact that rooms were $6 when the company was founded. With inflation at 40-year highs, I was kind of curious if Motel 6 is still true to the name decades on when you factor in inflation. So to do this, we can use the Consumer Price Index to see how prices today compare to prices back when Motel 6 was founded. Motel 6 was founded in 1962 in California. So 60 years on, if they're still $6 accounting for inflation, they are still staying true to their name. So there are multiple places you can find consumer price indexes and consumer price index calculators on the internet, and they will all give you results that are reasonably close to each other. There are different ways to look at the data and different data sets, and if there's years, do you take the average at the beginning of the year or the end of the year, or do you take the average of the time in between? I decided to see if I could get data that was a little more accurate, and I found data for the Consumer Price Index on the St. Louis Federal Reserve website for these calculations. So let's take a look and see what the Federal Reserve shows for Consumer Price Index data. Here you can see that in January of 1962, the Consumer Price Index has a value of 30.04. In August of 2022, which is the most recent data, it has a value of 295.62. So to determine how much more expensive things are today than in 1962, all I have to do is take the 295.62 and divide it by the 30.04, and that comes out to 9.84. So items today will cost almost 10 times as much as they did in 1962 when factoring in inflation. So we can go ahead and take that 9.84 and multiply it by our $6 and see that Motel 6 comes out to $59.04. So if Motel 6 is staying true to the name, rooms should cost about $59. So how much does the room cost at the Motel 6 on my way to work? Well, it just so happens that it's $59.49. So yes, Motel 6 is staying true to the name that they are offering rooms for $6 at the time of the company's founding in 1962. Now, I do see the price go up sometimes when there is particular events in the area on weekends, which would be expected. You may also be living in a more urban area that's a higher cost of living, and Motel 6 may have rooms that are more expensive there. A lot of major cities actually have their own consumer price index that isn't tied to the Federal Reserve data, which is more based on a national average. So it's pretty neat that Motel 6 is staying true to their name 60 years later. That's it for this episode, and as always, stay curious.